Sorry, didn't see you there. 6 of you currently fighting for a playoff berth. 2 weeks left to decide on who will be the next beer bitch, Kevin or Ferralis. And the top 2 in the league face off this week. I'm scratching due to crabs, and it's the weekly Giggity. Let's get into some news and notes, shall we? The Las Vegas Raiders have placed nearly their entire defense on the COVID list after Clelin Ferrells has tested positive. I hope I said that right. Actually, I really don't care. Starting this Saturday, the NFL will bring the hammer down and start a more intensive COVID protocol. It was a bad day for quarterbacks. Most notable was Drew Brees, who suffered broken ribs on both sides and a punctured lung and is expected to miss at least 2 weeks. Matt Stafford has a ligament tear in his right thumb. Teddy Bridgewater has a sprained MCL. Drew Lock has bad muscle strains and bruising. And Nick Foles just straight got bitched. Antonio Brown is still crazy, and the NFL is now investigating an incident that was withheld from the Bucs involving a bike, a security camera, and Manti Te'o's girlfriend. What? Christian McCaffrey is expected to miss more time due to a shoulder injury. Andy Dalton is expected to start Sunday against the Vikings after missing some time due to a concussion, COVID, and gingivitis. The Niners signed Tack McKinley after sending Jermichael Hasty to the IR with a broken collarbone. The Wednesday waivers have come through and were led by Sam getting LaMichael Pirine and Gomez picking up Cam Newton for $3 each. The $1 winners were Corey getting Ryan Suckup, Tony getting Alan Lazard again, and Jason grabbing the Seahawks defense. Players dropped were Teddy Bridgewater and finally the Titans defense. Alright folks, let's get into the weekly recap, shall we? And of course, let us dishonor those who lost their fantasy value by not scoring a single fucking point. Philip Lindsay, and negative points for the Washington defense, and of course, the Titans defense. Alright, match 1. Nor versus Corey. Nor jumped out to an early lead on Thursday, but the lack of a run game and defense was his downfall. Nick Chubb looked great in his return for Corey, and a Hail Murray helped him reach triple digits again. His three-headed monster was quiet, and his running backs shit. But with Nor's 3 running backs only combining for 14 points, it was enough. Corey wins this one 77-100. He was the shocker last week, and he's going to be the shocker again this week. What the hell is going on with James Conner? He did jack shit against the Cowboys and followed it up with even more shit against the Bengals, with only 15 touches for 48 yards.
Showstopper.
Murray and Chubb both balled, but I'm going to take the Rams defense here. They held the high-scoring Seahawks to only 16 points. That in itself is amazing. They also sacked Russell 6 times and picked him off twice along with a fumble recovery, totaling 15 points. Match 2, Tony versus Areola. It was extremely evident that Mike was without his 2 biggest playmakers this week as he put down a personal low. Robinson versus the Packers, Carr versus the Broncos, and Ingram versus the Eagles seemed like juicy matchups that really bit him in the ass. Tony again relied on his running backs and all 3 delivered with a combined 57 points. A block punt touchdown for the Colts D was the beginning of the end for Mike's hopes this week as he falls to Tony 111-59. The Raiders put up 37 points on Sunday, so Derek Carr must have balled, right? Well, yes and no. He played a solid game for what the script called for. He didn't throw a single touchdown as the run game just took over. Carr passed for 154 yards and 10 yards rushing, getting only 7 points.
Showstopper.
Alvin Kamara had a nose for the end zone Sunday against the 49ers. He struggled rushing the ball, but as usual was a force as a receiver and in the red zone. Kamara totaled 98 total yards with 3 touchdowns, racking up 27 points. Match 3, Jason versus Slater. Another match lacking in running back production. This one was really all about the wide receivers and kickers. Lamar played well, and Henry had a 100-yard game, but Jason's wide receivers really came through for him. Drew Brees getting knocked out at halftime, and only one position player putting up double digits didn't help Slater much this week. Despite Jason continuing to roll with the Titans D, he gets the W, 89-69. And believe it or not, everybody, that was the closest match this week. The Seahawks are allowing record-setting numbers through the air on defense this year, so I find it shocking that Robert Woods didn't have a big day. The Rams' defense kept it close, but it was still only a one-score game. Woods only caught 5 balls for 33 yards in this one. Showstopper. Now I should take Hoppy here, but since Seattle couldn't find the end zone, I'm going to go with their kicker in Jason Myers. He was 3 for 3 in field goals and the single extra point, and he even booted a 61-yarder totaling 13 points. Match 4, Gomez versus Kevin. Kevin is spiraling down a familiar hole as he continues to make bad start-sit decisions. Gomez seemingly gets a big number for 1 or 2 players every week, and that consistency is exactly what he needed as his lineup lacked of any, consistency. There are a few woulda, coulda, shouldas in this one, but ultimately Gomez, on the back of Jacobs, walks away with the win, 93-67. Fantasy experts everywhere were praising Jared Goff as a stream option this week against the Seahawks. And honestly, who could argue? Just like Derek Carr, Goff was solid, but didn't throw a single touchdown against the worst pass defense in NFL history. 302 yards and a fumble nabbed Kevin 10 points. Showstopper. We all had a feeling Tom Brady would come out swinging after the embarrassing loss to the Saints last week. And boy did he. TB12 tore apart the Panthers for 341 yards and 3 touchdowns, plus a rushing touchdown, putting up 31 points. He could have gotten more if Rojo didn't run one for 98 yards. Match 5, Sam versus Feralis. The two teams with stacked wide receivers. Boy, what a letdown. Aside from Diggs, all the wide receivers here really didn't do much. This was another match where the kickers were the stars. Big Ben balled out in Cincy, and as you already know, Russell had a rough day in LA. Feralis has now tied the league record for a streak, but he's on the wrong side of it, losing 9 games in a row. Sam inches closer to a playoff berth, winning 96-69. I should go with Russell here, but instead I'm going to go with Michael Thomas. For a guy who is widely seen as the number 1 wide receiver pre-draft, how does he only have 8 points on the season? He is healthy now and just seems to be a decoy for the Saints thus far, as he only caught 2 balls for 27 yards on Sunday. Showstopper. Big Ben beasted, but I'm going to take Wayne Gallman here. He has scored in all 4 games since Freeman has been out, and found the end zone twice on Sunday against the Eagles. He didn't do much outside of the red zone, but 53 yards and 2 touchdowns netted Sammy 17 points. Not bad for the late pickup. Well, I sat down with one of your own again. Someone who is surging upwards. I hope you all enjoy.
Well, hey there, Gridiron Gala.
I'm your host, and I'm back again with another one of your fellow members, Jason Bobo Bercease. Jason, how you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing pretty well. How about yourself there?
Not too bad. I'm hanging in there. That is some nice bling you're showing.
Mm.
Yeah. So let's just hop right into this, all right? Why don't you tell me, what are you wearing?
I'm actually wearing pants, weirdly enough, today. I felt like I had to put them on just to feel like I was going somewhere, even though I knew I was not. I just like you accomplished something. And
Yeah.
putting on pants is
I
a
mean, that's
big
the
accomplishment, as you
only
guys
reason why
know.
I make my bed in the morning is just to feel a little bit more like I did something. I want to ask, um, do you feel like your team has underperformed so far this year? I mean, like Henry, he is the number 3 running back, but he's only had 2 weeks with 20 plus points. Hoppy's the number 6 receiver, which was kind of around expected, I guess. But like Lamar is number 10. You got Singletary at number 34 running back. You got Amari Cooper at number 26 wide receiver. Do you feel like, for the most part, they've just been underperforming?
Yeah, I think a lot of circumstances have made that possible too. Like Hopkins going to the Cardinals, I knew initially that there was going to be some fallout. I mean, you can't stop him from being the stud that he is, but just the opportunity wasn't going to be as massive as it was in Houston. And honestly, Henry for me is I feel fine about him because every other time I've owned a Henry, he's had like a handful of dud weeks, and at least like if he's scoring 10 or around there, it feels like somewhat of success. Like he's not going to be scoring 40 points every week, but just to have some level of consistency is good. I would say my biggest disappointment is Lamar. Um, I feel like he's just starting to hit his stride though. Like um,
Yeah, he's
through the
played good the last
first,
couple weeks.
yeah, through the first half of the season, and that's why it sucks about Andrews too, because I feel like Andrews has really, really been in a slump due to Lamar being in a slump and just not seeing the field well. Amari is bang or bust as is, but without Dak, it's just this it was kind of be expected. I definitely
Well,
was.
Dalton showed some interest in, with him targeting Cooper. So with Dalton coming back, that could help you out.
Yeah, he definitely seemed to have more of a connection with Dalton when they were there because I don't know what it is. It seems like Amari just has this kind of bad juju about him, and Dak doesn't even look his way half the time. He's like probably his first read in the play, but his last read in his mind. I don't know why. And it seems like to me that Amari, he just quits on plays sometimes. Like he just is disinterested. So if I were Dak, I wouldn't fucking throw him the ball either.
Oh my God, you finally dropped the Titans.
And I picked up
And
the
you picked up
Seahawks.
the Seahawks. I gotta ask, what? I feel like, why? Why the Seahawks?
This season is already a victory that I didn't lose to Kevin, and I'm not able to become beer bitch.
You're
Like
out of the beer bitch
this
race.
is
That's
all house
notable.
money now. Uh, but with the Seahawks, if you look at the end of their schedule, it's really, really soft. And I mean, statistically they're shit, but they still have some names on their defense: KJ
Yeah,
Wright,
they've had those
Bobby
names on
Wagner.
their defense all season.
Yeah, I know. It's a lot of it's been circumstantial too, and just the teams that they're playing and the COVID era of offense and lack of penalties. All this shit has to do with it. But I'm not feeling good about them this week. In fact, I'm actually thinking about not starting a defense because it would have done me better to not do so at least three
three
weeks
weeks.
this season.
Titans. You got Sam this week. You got Gomez in week 12. How confident are you about getting a playoff berth and making a run for it?
Playoffs?
Playoffs, man.
Playoffs? No,
Playoffs.
I am not
You're in the
confident at
hunt.
all. I'm in the hunt, which is weird. Like I feel like it's a false illusion because I don't know. I could have some blow up players to
I mean, that was
really.
a huge win for you to beat Slater.
It was, and it was just as huge of a loss for him. I feel too. I mean, he made so many moves just to be able to field. Uh, Actually, I was scared. I'm like, oh wow, my matchups aren't good. And when he had all those buys, I'm like, oh, yay, this is going to work out nice. And then he traded with just about half the league and came up with a whole new squad. And I was like, oh shit. But I mean,
You're not feeling very confident though, huh? It's not like
I don't know. I feel like Sam's team is one of those teams too. It's a banger bust kind of thing.
Sam's got
Uh,
the wide receivers, and I think Gomez is the boomer bust team. He's
yeah,
always got like two players on his squad that put up like 25, 30 points.
between the both of them, I mean, because for Sam, when I played him week 2, I was beating him pretty significantly throughout the entire day, and then there was like a 70-yard bomb to Tyreek, followed by a 70-yard bomb to McLaurin. And then I think McLaurin scored one more time later in that game too. And it was just like an avalanche of points in the last like 10 minutes of the morning games. So without that, I should have had him pretty handily. But, 40 points in 10 minutes is hard to overcome. But like you said, if I can take either of these guys, which I think there is a decent opportunity, I can get one of the two, and then maybe one of them falters the week after or before, and yeah, I could just like by default find myself in the hunt for real.
Well, you are in the hunt for real.
It feels false hope. I don't know why. It's just some people have hope and they are optimistic to a fault. I am the opposite way.
Oh,
It's all smiles and surprise when it happens. But when it doesn't happen, it's just like, oh, there you go.
episode 4, man. You need a new hope. All right. Are you regretting the trade with Kevin?
You know,
I think what was it? 35 points that Hawk has scored since the trade, and only 12 for Mark Andrews.
Yeah, it's been pretty rough. Like I said, I put a lot of that on Lamar. It seemed like even in the rain, Andrews was being put back into the offense and being a major piece again. Which I mean, in the beginning of the season, he had multi-touchdown games. And I'm like, oh yeah, I might have to live through a dud or two. It's the tight end position, but he's going to have those Kelsey days where he gets 2 touchdowns and 80 yards, and I just haven't seen that. It's been tough, and really the 3 years on this contract was the real reason I didn't want to do it. But
It's a big contract.
yeah, $30 for a tight end is scary. And
All right. You being an expert on the subject, I got to ask, who's going to be beer bitch? Kevin or Ferralis?
it's tough to say, man, and I don't want to kiss of death anybody. I think I want to let the cards.
So,
But
Kevin,
if you look at my name, I think my beating him could be a foreshadowing on just like one of the two daggers that finished Jon Snow, for the watch. Um, did I say Kevin's name because I'm picking Kevin
you're picking Kevin to be beer bitch?
for the quad B, the
Well,
back to back beer bitch.
Kevin plays Nor this week, and then he plays Tony week 12. Mike has Areola this week, and then he has Corey next week against him.
Oh,
So,
tough sledding, but I think Ferralis gets a win against the Giant.
against Corey?
Yeah, I'm not saying he's going to throw the game, but his players are going to throw the game.
All right. Last question, man. Anybody available for trade?
I've been having some people knocking on my door nearly every week, and I never straight up say no to an offer. I'm always willing to listen. I don't feel like there's anybody on my team that's untouchable other than Lamar because he's franchise. Anybody
Last
wants
time
that
that's ever
that
happened.
hot Mark Andrews contract, come see me. No, but
What about Saquon?
That one was one in the beginning I was kind of panic putting out there, but it's definitely not off limits. Like if you have a stud running back and you want to take a gamble, I mean, he's on the rookie. You'll have his rookie rights too. So whatever that contract works out to be, it's
It'll
not going to
definitely be
be
shorter than 61.
definitely. So you're getting a discount. You'll be getting a discounted rate on a potentially game breaking player, but And then Derrick Henry too. Derrick Henry, man, like he's on the last year of his deal. Guys, come find me.
Uh-oh. There you go, League. Listen to that one. You might have a full inbox there. Calling out Derrick Henry. The fucking background, man. I kept looking at the guy. Couldn't stop looking at him, just checking out your ass. All right, Jason. I thank you for joining me for a few minutes and talking some shop. I wish you luck. I am rooting for you to get into the playoffs. I think it'd be a good story, winning the last four to make a push, and maybe knock double DQ Areola out or something like that. So I raise a glass to you. Cheers, my friend, and best
Cheers.
of luck this week and next week.
Thank you. You are the wind beneath my wings.
I have been told that many times.
Miss you guys. Actually, no, that's too much. That's it. Miss you guys.
Enough. All right, Jason.
All right, dudes. Keep it real. Nighty night. Keep your butthole tight.
Thank you, Jason, for your time and apparent sweet ass. All right, boys. Let's get into the upcoming matchups, huh? Fuck yeah. Up and coming.
Matchups.
Diving right in. Match 1. Corey versus Tony. A real heavy hitter. The last time these two played, they set a Gridiron Gala record for 292 combined points. Corey's, is that a chub? Nah, just my dick. We'll travel to Nike Starbucks PlayStation 4 field to take on Tony's Whoa. What is it good for? Definitely nothing. Good God, you all. Both teams with favorable matchups nearly healthy squads. Chris Carson being a game-time decision is troublesome for Tony, as Corey can get a massive leg up with Kyler and DK going tonight. Gala has this shootout at 120 to 113, Corey. This one should be another high-scoring affair between the top two. Kyler will probably still be riding high during this short week, and if the Cards want to avoid Lockett scoring 3 times again, DK may be in for a big day. Tony can see big points from his bottom 3, and if his wide receivers can find the end zone, it could get nasty. Surprise! I'm going with Tony. Match 2, Slater versus Gomez. Slater's Fresh Prince of Bel-Air will head out to Pornhub Stadium to battle with Gomez and Josh Jacobs Jingleheimer Schmidt. Hashtag, his name is my name too. You gotta wonder if Slater will still start Edmonds over a wide receiver with Drake back. Like I said earlier, Lockett had that monster 3-touchdown game against the Cards, and with 3 straight single-digit weeks, you gotta wonder if he's due. If Gomez starts Cam over TB12, then both quarterbacks will be facing off against each other. Projections are 103 to 90, Slater. The running backs are interesting here. Obviously, CEH and Zeke have been disappointing, but Gomez really relies on Jacobs to score big and make up for the lack of depth. Will Hines get the start after the big game? I think the Cowboys' offense will return to, being watchable. And I love the Steelers' D in Jacksonville. I'll take Slater. Match 3, Noor versus Kevin. Noors, can you do this to the Beach Boys? We'll head to Communication Hill to take on Kevin and his Need More Bitch? Need more beer? Wave that one for the beer, bitch. Bitch. It's hard to guess who Kevin will go with. It might be a blessing to have Moss on a bye just to limit his mistakes. Noor has to be frustrated with his running back situation, seemingly having to guess when to play Fournette and Henderson. I would say Connor should tear up the Jags, but he didn't do shit against the Cowboys or the Packers, so who the fuck knows. Projections got this one at 94 to 91, Nor. Nor relies heavily on his Packers stack, and that could be an issue this week going against the Colts. Kevin also has tough quarterback play this week, along with a head scratcher at his flex position. I don't really like either lineup here, but I think Miles Sanders will have a big workload in that shitty Cleveland weather. So I'll take Kevin. Match 4, Battle of the Mikes. Areola versus Feralis. Nipples, hey Mr. Robinson, will drive a little south to Battle 40 in his Lamb of God squad. Another week without McCaffrey is troubling for Areola here, as he is on the cusp of losing a playoff berth. Though Mahomes is in prime time against the Raiders in a game where he wants revenge for the only Chiefs loss this season. Russell is also in prime time tonight, where he also lost late, but he did put up 29 points last time against the Cards. Both teams are struggling at running back this week, so it really comes down to the wide receivers, as both quarterbacks should ball. The Oracles see this one at 100 to 94, Areola. All of 40's wide receivers could have big days, and with both teams' number one running backs having tough matchups, that could really be the difference maker. I don't like either defense this week, especially the Jets. I wouldn't like them any fucking week. But I imagine Mike will make a change there. I'm going to go with Feralis. Match 5, Jason versus Sam. Jason is Kevin's Antichrist. We'll head out to Nick's Coliseum to battle the commish, and Mr. Ridley wants to cut your bullet with his bare hand. Hashtag make Corey draft again. Hashtag 274. Big Ben has been hot with consecutive 20-plus point performances and could do it again versus the Jags. Sam will keep tabs on Mixon and Ridley, who are trying to come back from injury. Jason has some good matchups with Lamar, Davis, and Hoppy. Sort of a question mark picking up the Seahawks defense against the Cards. He said he might not even start them. Gala has this one at 104 to 99, Jason. Sam's running backs have been a shit show all year, and Jason has taken a hit for good players just underperforming. I really like Sam's wide receivers this week. It's nasty, but I think Jason's matchups are good too, along with Amari Cooper, who could see a bigger role with Andy Dalton back under center. I'll take Jason to get his third win in a row and continue his playoff push. Alright, boys. It's now time for the motherfucking Power Rankings! It's the Weekly Power Rankings! Alright, Power Rankings, and we're jumping right in, because we got a brand new number 10, Michael Feralis. The sun is starting to set on this former champ, with only 2 games left to get out of last place and avoid being the league's first to worst, or champ to beer bitch, as Corey wrote. Mike must break his losing streak and win this week. Number 9, Kevin Wallen. Another former champ down in the dumps. This shoddy squad must be sacrificing goats to help pick the right lineup that keeps him out of last place. After 3 straight weeks of leaving Burrow on the bench, you would hope that Kevin would learn his lesson and play the high-flying rookie to save his season. Number 8, Jason Cease. Hip hip Murray! Hip hip Murray! A last-second Hail Mary for Hopkins sealed the win for this Titan lover. Stuck in a 4-way tie for the final 2 playoff spots, Jason is firmly in control of his own destiny to escape the depths of last place and firmly launch into the free-for-all. Hopefully, he finally learns his lesson and benches the Titans' defense for a team that will not lose him points. Corey wrote this before the waiver Wednesday pickups. Jason did drop the Titans' D. Will not lose him points. I don't know. Seattle, they fucking suck on defense. They're a pretty good team. Fun note, Jason selected a perfect lineup where no points were left on the bench last week. 100% efficiency. Gold star, Bobo. Number 7, Alex Slater. The season has fallen apart for this owner. The desperation trades last week to reconfigure the roster did nothing for Slater this week, as he put up a measly 69 giggity points. The dreams of Zeke and CEH, leading this squad to the crown have long faded. Those dreams now rest on the shoulders of the strong receiving core. Number 6, Nor Sandy. Tough loss this week for the league's baby daddy. Getting a total of 6 points from former RB1s Connor and Fournette did not help. Relying on Allen and Adams each week has proven only 50% effective. I would look for this owner to make a move to move one of his star quarterbacks for that extra piece to put him over the top. Number 5, Alejandro Gomez. Big weeks from Tom Brady and Josh Jacobs helped add another mark in the win column for this Raider. While only getting 11 points from A.J. Brown, Lockett, and Waller is concerning, those types of weeks can be weathered when your other playmakers go off. Number 4, Michael Areola. The window is starting to close for this strong roster. With 2 DQs and stuck at the bottom of the playoff race, the only hope left for Mike is to win out in order to secure a playoff berth. The prize first rounders of JK and JT are trailing off, leaving everything to Mahomes and CMC to bring him home to the promised land. Number 3, big bump up, Samuel Nix. Huge weeks from Big Ben Gallman and Tyler Seabass propels this owner into the top 3, fighting for the 2 seed and a bye week. With most of his squad returning this week from bye, this dangerous roster will be set up nicely for a playoff disappointment yet again this year. Number 2, Tony Feinstein. The Rental King does it again, putting up a week-leading 111 points against Mr. Double DQ, fresh off a trade that saw him dump a collection of mediocre contracts for the beastly Julio Jones. A showdown with the league leader this week will either put the Funhouse in contention for the number 1 seed or fighting to preserve the second place bye. And of course, that just leaves number 1, the same as the rest of the season, Corey Hart. Another week, another triple-digit outing for this top-seeded squad. The 8th of the season, to be exact. With the season coming to a close, the only question that remains is if this lineup is strong enough to actually make it through the playoffs this year, or will they bomb out early, like always. All right, boys. 2 weeks left, and tonight is a big game. A lot of fantasy relevance tonight. We got Russell, Kyler, we got DK, Lockett. If Carson goes, there's Carson or Hyde or DJ Dallas. We've got fucking Hopkins and Drake and Edmonds and Kirk and maybe Seattle D. We'll see if Jason ends up starting them. Ballsy. All right. 4 guys tied at 5-5. The middle 6 are all playing each other from here on out. You know what I mean? The bottom 2 are playing the top 2 next week. Top 2 are playing each other this week. Bottom 2 are... No, not bottom 2. Mike's playing, Mike, but top 2 are playing each other this week, but the bottom 2 play the top 2 next week. So that middle 6 is really crammed in there in contention. You guys are all fucking button heads. Jason making a push, winning 2 in a row, It's inspiring. Who's going to end up being Beer Bitch, huh? So Kevin has... who's he playing this week? I already forget. Is it Nor? Gomez. Kevin has Gomez, and then Tony. And then Ferralis has Mike, and then Corey. Alright. I'm beginning to get hard nipples. we'll see you next time on the Weekly Giggity. I'd do me. I'd fuck me real good. Da-da, 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 da-da.